Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Cricket on Forever Sports for today's preview as the Proteas returned test match action on Boxing Day against Sri Lanka, and after a very unsuccessful T20 series against England followed by a ODI series which didn't happen because of COVID-19. This is a big opportunity for the Proteas to finally start getting some wins under their belt and start actually getting involved in this World Test Championship, which we are just pretty much nowhere in really. So our chance of getting silver is pretty much gone, which means the main thing now is to start actually putting together a test side that can actually compete at the highest level. Yes, we've been going through a transformation period for about 6 years now, and we still haven't come up with a test 11. But we have lost some big players over the last couple of years that we need to start sort of building a side. And I think if you look at the squad, it is quite a young squad, with the exception of like a Faf du Plessis, even Keshav Maharaj and Dean Algo are getting on in years. The bulk of the squad could still be there in sort of 3, 4, 5 years' time. Keshav Maharaj could be there as well as a spinner. So it's now a time where we need to start sort of finalizing some sort of 11, which you can kind of tinker one person, two people, but you don't want to be sitting there making wholesale changes all the time. But in terms of injuries, the big news is that there is no Kagiso Rabada, which is massive for the Proteas, which means that the seamers are going to really have to stand up this series. And also, as a result of COVID-19, Bjorn Hendricks has been withdrawn, as has Keegan Peterson. And a couple of new faces in the squad, the likes of Calverain, Reino Pantonda, Glenton Stearman, Miguel Proteas, as well as Sarah Irvier. So basically, and the reason that this has come out so late is I've been sitting there toying, trying to decide what sort of 11 we're going to see, what sort of 11 I would actually like us to see, who gets the nod, who doesn't get the nod. You know, we've got recalls for Temba Bavuma. Aiden Markram is playing well. You know, so it's quite a difficult side to sort of pick, and you have to try and get the sort of balance. And do we play an all-rounder? If so, which all-rounder? So there are so many difficult questions. What has been confirmed, however, is that Quinton de Kock will captain the side and he will keep wickets. So no chance of him being played just as a batsman, which means if Calverain is to play, it will be as a specialist batsman. So that sort of raises a whole different question. Can he play, or should he be playing as a specialist batsman? Is he good enough? I think he is, but, you know, it's difficult to then, you know, who do you drop? So in terms of the side, this is what I've gone with, and it's kind of a mixture of what I'd like to see and what I think we might see. So first of all, we will see Dean Algo and Aiden Markram. I've got pretty much no doubt about that. Aiden Markram was the man that they sent out for a press conference on Monday, was speaking much about the captaincy and about the fact that he needs to start scoring runs. He's not worrying about the captaincy. So I think that the reason, especially that fact that after a year we're looking for our next test captain, and then we just made a Quinton de Kock, and it was very apparent and very obvious to the point where they even said this is not long term, that I think the hope is that Aiden Markram will find some form, go on and start scoring runs, and he will then take over the captaincy. We all know how much they've wanted Aiden Markram to become the South African captain. So yeah, I probably would have gone with Dean Algo as the captain, to be honest, because I just think that, you know, let's just try and reduce the load of Quinton de Kock. And why can't Dean Algo captain? He's been around the block. He's been a crucial member of the squad. 2 years ago, you know, he was one of the best batsmen in the world in terms of runs being scored. So, you know, a very underrated player is Algo. But I think those two will be the opening pair. And it is a nice combination. You've got the aggression of Aiden Markram followed by just the sheer grit and will of Dean Algo, which is so important in Test match cricket. Now, number 3 is the big one. You know, you could put Faf du Plessis at number 3. You could have Rassie van der Dussen at 3. Some people calling for Temba Bavuma to be at number 3. But South Africa need to find the number 3. And we was kind of hoping it was going to be Sabir Hamza, but he struggled a little bit. Then we had Keegan Peterson, who was potentially going to slot into there, but he's been ruled out with COVID-19. So I would really like South Africa to roll the dice and back the most informed player in the country right now and give Reino Pantonda his debut. He's scoring runs for fun, and I think it's pretty unlikely the fact that he was only given a call up now this week. So it's a bit of an afterthought. But I would like to see them take a risk. I don't think they will. I think that's probably someone that will change. You could very well just see Faf du Plessis slot into 3, Rassie van der Dussen slot down. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Calverain at number 5 for the Proteas. But then if you've got Reino Pantonda at 3, you've got Faf du Plessis at 4 for me. And then Rassie van der Dussen at 5. Quinton de Kock for me will come in at 6. And then this is the interesting one. Previously, we've sort of gotten away with playing a bowler short and playing, and we've had to sort of had Temba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock as your sort of 6-7, and they have made some very big and played some very important innings at that position. But I think that especially with the fact that Lungi Ngidi and Glenton Stearman are carrying slight injuries, we have to play an all-rounder. And if we are doing it, as much as I'm a Dwayne Pretorius fan and I really like him, I would like South Africa to risk it and just give Van Mulder a chance. He is a genuine batting all-rounder, not a batsman who can bowl. I mean, a bowler who can bat. He's a genuine batting all-rounder. Batting is what he does first and foremost. And that's what we need, because we've seen that our bowling lineup has always been very solid. And yes, we are missing Kagiso Rabada, but I do still back our bowling lineup. And I think so. I think that we need someone who's going to add a lot with the bat and then something with the ball. And Van Mulder's, he started quite slowly when he first started. When he got called up. I mean, he was playing from a very young age. I mean, he was arriving at training for the Lions in his blooming school uniform because he was so talented. But, he sort of struggled a little bit to try and sort of make the step up. And I think he was rushed too much and he got injured and he's now had to sort of fight his way back. But if you look at his stats from the recent matches, he has got 100 this season. But since we restarted, he scored an 11 and didn't bat, then 2015, 100, not out, and then a 19 and 7. So look, nothing sensational, but bowling-wise, he took a 3 for 48 stands out there, a 1 for 47, and a 2 for 68. So he is a very talented player, and at 22 years old, it's time now to try and give him a chance. And now, look, we probably will go to Proteas because, I mean, in that team right there are 3 debutants, which is probably maybe too much for them. I don't know. It's a bit of a risk. But I would like to see us go Van Mulder. So that could probably potentially be Proteas, or could be a very much an outsider. And they could go with Miguel Proteas, who is handy with the bat, but not an all-rounder, Keshav Maharaj, that is fairly standard. We know that's not going to change. Anurag Nokia, Lungi Ngidi, and then Glenton Stearman, in theory, will make his debut, and especially with Rabada being out, unless there are a couple of niggles and they can't play, in which case, you have to start looking at the squad. And if you're looking at the squad, you've got the likes of, as I said, Miguel Proteas, who is there, as well as Lutus Apamla, which I think it's probably too soon for Lutus Apamla to come into the test arena. So it's a side that is, I mean, you don't know what we're going to see. It could be a very different side, but that's what I'd like to see. A sort of combination of what I like to see and what I think we will see. But the definites for me, I think the only thing that is up for debate is Reynald Vertonda, Van Mulder, and Glenton Stearman, just based on injuries. So mainly it's Van Mulder and Reynald Vertonda. Will they go Kyle Verreynne? How else? And will they go Dwayne Pretorius? Will they play an extra batsman? Because at the moment, I probably wouldn't play Temba Bavuma right now, but they could. They could play Temba Bavuma as well. So yeah, it's a difficult one to call, and we'll only know, obviously, on the day. But that's the team I think that we're going to go with. No excuses for playing against Sri Lanka. We've got to go out and dominate games. We've got to go out and start playing proper test cricket. But comment down below what you think of the side, what you think is going to happen. Smash like on the video, and do subscribe. We will be doing coverage day by day, a bit of a wrap-up, as well as previews and reactions throughout the series. So make sure you keep it locked on Forever Sports for your latest news in terms of the test series. My name is Stephen, and thank you very much for watching.